I can be really good Monday to Thursday, and then it all seems to go out the window at the weekend. Is it better to be stricter in the week to allow for weekends, or should I be trying to make every day more consistent? Now, the weekends, they can be tricky because we tend to be going out. We tend to be going out for social events. We tend to be maybe drinking cocktails, going out for, I don't know, lunch or brunch or Sunday dinner, whatever it might be. And this is a really, really common struggle, by the way. And I think first we need to sort of break down what we mean by good. What does good Monday to Thursday actually mean? Because for some people, they see good as eating as little as possible, or cutting foods out, like no chocolate, no pudding, no alcohol, having salads. You're trying to be perfect in their own eyes. And they get to Friday and they're thinking, oh my goodness, thank gosh, it's Friday. I'm going to have a takeaway and some wine. I'm going to snack. So we're going for meals out. I'm going to eat the dessert. And then we get to Sunday night and then we think, I'll start again on Monday. And what is actually happening is it's this weekday restriction that contributes to a weekend of overeating. And if we were just to put this into like mathematical terms, if we were to do like a simple calorie example, and I'm not saying you should count calories, by the way, I'm just using it in terms of energy here, energy needed. So if we say hypothetical maintenance of somebody might be 2,000 calories, Monday to Thursday, they're like, right, I'm going to bank myself some calories. I'm going to eat 1,500 a day. So then over the 4 days, it would be a 2,000 calorie deficit. Then they get to Friday to Sunday and, Friday night they're having a takeaway, having some pudding and then some wine. And on Saturday, they're going to be going out as well, Sunday, etc., etc. And then they're having 2,800 a day, which would be very, very easy to do, particularly when we're going out or we're having alcohol, etc. It's very easy to do that. So that is all of a sudden 800 extra per day. So times by 3 over the course of those 3 days, over maintenance. 2,400 calories. That weekly deficit that we created has completely disappeared. So the whole eating less Monday to Thursday, trying to bank up for the weekend, can actually make the weekend rebound even worse, or we're telling ourselves that we deserve it, when in actual fact, we're just completely undoing everything that we've done in the week. And then for a lot of people, that can make, if they're trying to lose weight, it can make weight loss really, really tricky, particularly mentally, because they're working so hard Monday to Thursday and then just allowing that flexibility, but kind of a bit too much flexibility that undoes it all. And it can be a really, really terrible, vicious cycle to be in, because then we just feel like we're working hard and we're not seeing the rewards from it. So what this could look like instead is, not necessarily restricting ourselves, but being realistic about it and looking at the overall pattern of what we're doing. And I'm not saying, the odd occasion when we're going to a wedding on a one-off, or, on a Tuesday, it's someone's birthday at work, so they bring a cake in. You will have higher and lower calorie days, but it's important to look at the overall pattern. So if this is happening every single week, it's time to address it really. So if we look at a realistic Saturday, it might be something like, okay, I can have a normal breakfast. I'm going out for lunch. I'm going to have dinner out, and maybe I'm going to have a couple of glasses of wine, dessert if I really want it. But do you know what? If you've had your usual kind of breakfast, we've been sensible at lunchtime, we've been sensible at dinner, we've just stopped at a couple of glasses of wine, dessert comes, actually, no, I don't really want anything, I'm full, absolutely fine. Versus an all or nothing Saturday, which might be, I'm eating out tonight anyway, so yeah, why not? Let's just have a big breakfast. And then I'm picking all morning, or you get the reverse where some people say, right, I'm going to make sure that I'm just having a bowl of fruit for breakfast, or I'm not going to have anything. And then they end up picking all morning, having cake, and then having a big lunch, and then they're having some snacks, and then dinner, and then the wine comes out, and we have dessert, and then we get home and we're having the snacks, and then think, oh, do you know what? I've just ruined it now. Anyway, the problem was never the dessert or the wine or whatever you ate when you went out. It's the whole, oh, well, never mind, I've ruined it anyway, or the weekend doesn't count mentality. The weekends can be tricky as well, because it's where we tend to lose some structure. So weekdays might naturally be breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner. That might be your normal routine, or whatever it is for you, insert your own routine. Whereas at the weekend, it can often look a bit different. You might have a later breakfast. You might end up then not having lunch because you've had a late breakfast. So you end up picking your way through the afternoon, having some of the kids left over, some random crisps here and there, some coffee and cake. And then we're absolutely starving by 5 p.m. And then we're getting a takeaway and then we're having snacks. Sometimes it's not about discipline, or I need more discipline. It's about, we just need a bit more structure. So having some weekend anchors, it might be things like, I'm going to make sure that I eat proper meals. I'm going to have a breakfast, lunch, and a dinner. Even if it is, a bit later, I am going to make sure that I'm focusing each meal on a protein source that's going to keep me feeling satiated and way less likely to want to snack throughout the day because I'm actually okay. Make sure we're filling our plates with fruit and veg where we can, not starving ourselves just because we're going out later. Like, what's that about? Our body doesn't know, our body doesn't understand. Keeping hydrated and making sure we're keeping some movement in there. And also enjoying the things that we genuinely really want. And if it's not a hell yeah, if we don't really want it, then question, do we actually even need it? Like, is it really worth it? If you're going to your favorite Italian restaurant and you're going to be having some pizza, some wine and tiramisu because you love it, great, enjoy it. But having, stale biscuits in the office just because it's Friday, like, do you even want them? Or the kids' leftover toast, do you actually want that? Or some random crisps whilst making dinner? Like, is that a real hell yeah? Do you want it? It's not about restricting yourselves. It's about just choosing the things that you really genuinely enjoy. And I think really it's all about consistency across the day. It's not about what we do on the individual day. And there will be days, like I said, that are higher calorie, lower calorie. There will be days when there are more nutrient dense food and less nutrient dense foods. But just by kind of reframing this and thinking that, one, we don't need to earn what we do or have at the weekend. Two, we don't need to compensate for anything every single Monday. And three, really choosing what we will actually enjoy. And four as well, actually, having those weekend anchors. I think they can be really important. And it's not about trying to be perfect or trying to have the perfect diet. It's about that consistency and having, as I always mention, 70-30 rule. 70% of the time, let's have things that are good for our body. Like, we need to fuel our body with good stuff if we want to feel good, and then a little bit of what we want as well. And I think what a lot of people find is when they eat in this way, as in, mainly fueling themselves with good stuff, with good food, eating nutrient-dense foods and having a little bit of what they want, but not going overboard with it. They actually feel like they enjoy their food more, and you'll actually enjoy social occasions more because you have a bit of what you want and then you stop when you don't want anymore, or you really choose the things that you're going to really genuinely enjoy. People find that actually they, one, they get better results, and two, they actually start to enjoy food more.